ImgBurn is a simple, straightforward utility for burning CDs and DVDs. It can copy files and folders to a CD or DVD disk. It can also make an ISO backup image of a physical CD or DVD disk, or conversely, it can burn a new disk from an ISO image file. A little later, I'll illustrate how easily one of these ISO image files can even be used with a virtual CD drive. For this demonstration, the setup installer has already been downloaded and saved to a local folder on the hard drive. Start by locating and launching the setup installer. On this screen, make sure you deselect these options or you'll end up with unwanted bundleware garbage. I prefer to do updates only when I choose, so I select No on this screen. Close out any obligatory welcome web pages that opened in your browser. And here is the home screen to the finished installation. Roxio is a utility for burning data CDs and DVDs, or audio CDs. ImgBurn is an easier program to use than Roxio, but it cannot create an audio CD, so Roxio comes in handy if you need to create a music CD to play in a home or car stereo system. For this demonstration, the contents of a Roxio installation CD have been copied to a local folder on the hard drive. Start by locating and launching the setup installer. For setup type, choose Custom, then deselect Express Labeler and Update Manager. Express Labeler is for printing labels directly onto special printable CDs, so deselect this option if you won't be doing that. As this is an older Roxio program that isn't being updated any longer, there is no point installing the Update Manager to periodically check if updates are available. Deselect this option. After the program has finished installing, launch the program. Cancel the registration process and tell the program to never register. The welcome screen shows the various tasks that can be performed. Click Options and configure these settings to your preferences. This version of the program isn't being updated any longer, so deselect the Check for Updates option. Virtual Clone Drive is a very handy service that creates a fictitious or virtual CD-DVD drive. It's not a physical drive, but allows you to load and read ISO images of CD and DVD disks just as though they were real disks in a physical CD-DVD drive. For this demonstration, the setup installer has already been downloaded and saved to a local folder on the hard drive. Start by locating and launching the setup installer. When the program has finished installing, the service will automatically be running, but launch the program to view its options. To make the program behave as much like a real CD-DVD drive as possible, I prefer to change a few options. Since the service runs automatically in the background, there is no need for a desktop shortcut, so get rid of it. You can still get at the program options via the Start menu if you need to. When the service is running, notice there will be a new virtual CD-DVD drive shown in Windows Explorer. If you have an ISO image file, such as this example archived from a WordPerfect installation CD, simply double-clicking the ISO file will load it into the virtual CD drive, just as though there were a real WordPerfect installation disk in a physical CD drive. To inject the virtual CD, right-click the virtual drive and select Eject. Bullzip PDF printer is a handy service to turn any print job into a PDF file instead. It creates a virtual printer which can be used just like other installed printers, except that instead of printing on paper, it turns the print output into a PDF file. For this demonstration, the setup installer has already been downloaded and saved to a local folder on the hard drive. Bullzip also requires two other services, GhostScript and Microsoft's .NET Framework, to be installed. These installers have also been downloaded and saved locally. .NET is probably already installed on your computer, so don't run that installer unless the Bullzip installer tells you it needs it. Start by locating and launching the GoScript GS Lite installer. After this is installed, launch the Bullzip installer. The dependencies will already be installed, so deselect these options. Once installation has finished, notice there is a new Bullzip PDF printer shown in Printers and Devices. For this demonstration, the setup installer for Microsoft Office 2010 has already been downloaded and saved to a local folder on the hard drive. Note that Office 2010 requires a valid product key to authenticate. For this demonstration, a product key has already been saved in a text file so that it can be quickly cut and pasted when called for. Start by opening the text file containing the product key. Then launch the Office Setup installer. When called for, switch back to the text file, highlight the product key, and copy it to the clipboard. Switch back to the Setup window, click in the space provided, and use Ctrl-V to paste the key into the box. Before clicking Continue, deselect the option to automatically activate. I recommend delaying activation until you're sure the program has been installed and is operating correctly. Deselect the offer to install a trial version of a different Office version. Then click Customize to select which Office components to install. Deselect any components you don't plan on using. After the Office suite has finished installing, I recommend pinning frequently used components to the Start menu for easier access. Right-click the shortcuts and choose Pin to Start menu. I'll activate later, so we'll click Cancel for now. Automatic updates can be problematic, so I recommend selecting Don't Make Changes here. You can always update manually when you want to. Note that once you do go ahead and activate, all components will be activated, so you don't need to activate each program separately. Just for illustration, note that the Bullzip PDF printer installed earlier is listed like a regular printer here. Acrobat is a program for editing or marking up the pages of a PDF file. For instance, if you've created a PDF file with Bullzip PDF printer, you can use Acrobat to add, delete, rearrange, or annotate pages. For this demonstration, the contents of an Acrobat installation CD have been copied to a local folder on the hard drive. A product serial number has also been saved in a text file so that it can be quickly cut and pasted when called for. Start by opening the text file containing the serial number. Then launch the Acrobat Setup installer. When called for, switch back to the text file, highlight the serial number, and copy it to the clipboard. Switch back to the Setup window, click in the space provided, and use Ctrl-V to paste the serial number into the box. In this case, I've also added some installation tips to the text file. Choose Custom Install and deselect all non-essential components except for Acrobat documentation. When installation is finished, launch the program. Accept the license agreement. Adobe no longer supports this older version, so choose Never Register. And here is the home screen to the finished installation. Photoshop is a graphics editing program. For this demonstration, the contents of a Photoshop installation CD have been copied to a local folder on the hard drive. A product serial number has also been saved in a text file so that it can be quickly cut and pasted when called for. Start by opening the text file containing the serial number. Then launch the Photoshop Setup Installer. When called for, switch back to the text file, highlight the serial number, and copy it to the clipboard. Switch back to the Setup window, click in the space provided, and use Ctrl-V to paste the serial number into the box. When installation is finished, launch the program. Adobe no longer supports this older version, so choose Do Not Register. This version isn't being updated any longer, so there is no point installing the Check for Updates option. Deselect all options here. And here is the home screen to the finished installation. VideoPad is a fairly good non-linear video editing program. Note that version 4.0 is free for non-commercial use. Later versions became trialware, so version 4.0 is the last free version. For this demonstration, the Setup installer has already been downloaded and saved to a local folder on the hard drive. Start by locating and launching the Setup installer. I do not recommend installing any of these optional programs. If you need them, there are better alternatives elsewhere. Close out any obligatory welcome pages and get rid of the useless desktop shortcuts. Note that each time the program is launched, you'll need to confirm you're using it for non-commercial purposes.